Hello everyone, this is Mr. Lawback. In this video, we are going to go over the DBQ essay, which is the document-based question essay. So we'll talk about the DBQ, take a quick look at the rubric, but I strongly suggest you take a closer look at the rubric on your own. And then we'll go over some useful hints and things that you might want to avoid and things you might want to do while you're writing your DBQ. So the DBQ, this part of the AP exam comes closest to the challenges and work of practicing historians. So historians basically look at documents and make arguments. The AP exam's document-based question will be drawn from the concepts and content of periods 3 through period 8. So from 1754, which would be the beginning of the French and Indian War, up until 1980, which is the beginning of the Reagan administration. Students have no choice of questions, but they are given 60 minutes to write their answers. Directions suggest that students use the first 15 minutes to read and study the 7 documents because they are the essential focus for this kind of question. These documents include mostly text, but they will usually include one or more images such as cartoons, maps, or graphs. These sources will include differing points of view and often contradictory evidence. So again, you're given a total of 60 minutes, and the thought would be that you would spend the first 15 minutes reading closely over the documents. You can mark them up, you can take notes, you can annotate, you can do anything that helps you best digest the documents. So let's talk a little rubric. Requirements for the document-based question. The rubric used to grade the DBQ includes 7 possible points. The question counts for 25% of one's overall exam grade. Many of the DBQ requirements are the same or similar to those in the long essay questions or the LEQ. However, in addition, students need to be able to analyze at least 6 of the 7 historical documents provided and use them to support the argument of the essay. A quick look at the rubric. Again, go over this on your own too. Point 1, the thesis. Respond to the prompt with a historically defensible thesis or claim that establishes a line of reasoning. Point 2, contextualization. Describe a broader historical context relevant to the prompt. Points 3 and 4, evidence from the documents. Earn 1 point for using the content of at least 3 documents to address the question. For 2 points, you must use at least 6 of the documents and must also explain how the documents are related to the thesis arguments. Point 5, evidence beyond the documents. Use at least 1 additional piece of specific historical evidence beyond the evidence found in the documents that is relevant to your argument. So this would be using an outside source that is not included in the documents. Point 6, analysis of the sources. For at least 3 documents, one must explain how or why the document's point of view, purpose, historical situation, or audience is relevant to your argument. Point 7, complexity. And this is kind of the unicorn, very difficult to get the complexity point. Around 3% of students actually get this complexity point. Demonstrate a complex understanding of the question by using the evidence to corroborate, qualify, or modify an argument that addresses the question. Keep in mind that writing a DBQ answer is similar to writing an effective long essay question and that many of the same skills apply. As with a LEQ, a DBQ answer needs an effective thesis that addresses all parts of the question and uses a historical reasoning process, usually causation. As in a long essay, you need to make persuasive arguments supporting your evidence. So in terms of the structure, an LEQ and a DBQ are pretty much the same. All right, now for some useful hints for the DBQ. Be aware of the skills needed for the DBQ. The DBQ will focus on one of the following historical analytical skills: identifying cause and effect, differentiating between change and continuity, comparing historical events, and connecting events to a broader historical trend. Use the standard essay format. This is the format that you have been using in many of your history essays and general essays that you have written. Think 4 or 5 paragraph essay. Start off with an introductory paragraph where you include your thesis, usually the last sentence in the introductory paragraph. and then use analysis of individual documents to prove your thesis throughout the remainder of the essay. I would recommend definitely using at least 6 of the documents in your essay, but use all 7 if you can. This way, if you use one document inaccurately, you won't lose a point. Also remember to provide information on the author's point of view or intention. This would be called sourcing. Doing this for more than 3 documents will help you avoid losing a point if you make a mistake sourcing one of the documents. So spelling. Many students ask whether spelling counts. The answer is generally no. Scorers know that you are in a rush on these essays, and they understand that it is a draft version. In all probability, if you think your handwriting is bad, they have likely seen worse. Nevertheless, try to be as neat as possible and avoid lots of scratch outs, arrows going off in different directions pointing to stuff that you forgot, and don't write extremely small. Try to be as legible as possible. Remember, if your reader can read through it easily, that will make a better experience for them, and after all, they're the one that will assign it a grade. Don't waste time with direct quotes from the document. If you are going to use a direct quote, use a very brief one, but feel free to paraphrase. If you are going to quote your sources, it is perfectly acceptable to paraphrase. It is more important to be sure to comment on any and all quotes that you include in your essay. Now, how do you cite a document? You can cite it several ways, but the easiest way would just be after a small quote, just put in parentheses, doc A, B, C, D, whichever document it is. You should craft an argument that explains historical complexity and places the material covered by the question into a broader historical context. Remember, everything in your essay should come back to the prompt and the argument that you are making. Demonstrate your historical knowledge. To excel on the DBQ, you must bring in outside information. Don't just mention nouns or terms or names or vocab. Make sure you use them in the essay and explain how they are relevant to the argument you're making. So a couple more items. Make sure your thesis is not too broad. You want to be as specific as possible. It will help you in your writing of the essay if you are as specific as possible with your thesis statement. So I hope this information helps. Again, I think it would be time well spent if you took a close look at the rubric and maybe go online and search for some sample prompts with documents and read over some sample essays.